In RuneScape today, Hunter is a well-known and almost frustratingly slow skill to train. Training the skill before reaching Big Game Hunter at level 75, players can see this as tedious, intensive, or in the case of Big Chinchompa, another daily to add to their plate. But what if the answer was not through a conventional training method for Hunter, but rather through a boss? A boss who was meant to be farmed for GP, but not XP. Today, I am very excited to be sharing with you all Croesus Trash Runs. Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. My name is Andrew Eyeic, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I will be covering the idea behind Croesus Trash Runs, what they are, how to do them, as well as sharing XP rates and some tricks to make your runs a bit easier. So let's start off with why this method works. Of the 4 skills used to combat Croesus, 3 have an evident upgrade path which players can follow in order to do more damage to the boss. Mining unlocks its best tool at level 90, woodcutting at level 70, and fishing's upgrade has been locked behind Invention. Hunter, however, had one single item to improve its catch rate, which was the magical butterfly net. Because the Hunter node only had one upgrade option, Jagex was forced to make this plot easier than the rest. Players would need to be able to keep up with their teammates with the best in slot gear, having things like skilling offhands, augmented items, and of course, high-tiered tools. And sure enough, ever since release date, Croesus has been well known for its Hunter node being incredibly fast. Specifically, if using the Hunter Cape to 2-tick, it can be completed almost 30% faster than any other node. But let's pause on the boss and circle back to that one tool I was talking about earlier. This net, if you don't know, increases the catch rate of butterflies and implings by 7.8% when equipped and conveniently made to work on Croesus nodes. And did I mention that the only requirement is level 17 Hunter? So with an incredibly powerful low-level tool, as well as an easy-to-capture skilling node, brings the beginning of Croesus Trash Runs. Croesus Trash Runs, much like any other trash runs, is a method where you forsake your loot for experience. In this method, we're going to be entering the boss fight, farming the Hunter node until it's depleted, and then repeating. If we do this effectively, we can expect experience rates to look something along the lines of this. Once again, thank you for everyone who helped me gather the data for this chart. In order to do this method, minimum requirements are going to be 17 Hunter or 42 for Ironman and a suggested requirement of 3 defense, but if you want to AFK this method a little bit more, having 34 defense is much more preferable. Now here are 2 different inventory setups, one for a low level build when you are just starting and one for a high level build. Low levels, the main focus here is having logs in your inventory in order to deal with the sticky fungus, while on the higher level builds we are going to swap that out for an offhand like a Santa's Fire Torch or a Orthan Furnace Core, and instead be bringing a inventory of super restore potions in order to have efficient runs. Also make sure if you are doing post 99 XP here that you do bring your Hunter Cape, as you are able to 2-tick on the node, which I will show later in the video. Now, if you've never done Croesus before, that's okay. I'm going to be giving you a very simple rundown of everything you'll need to know, but if you would like something a little bit more in-depth, I have a guide linked in the description. So in order to maximize our experience for Croesus Trash Runs, we are going to need to do 3 things. Number 1, we will want to have a magic butterfly net. This is the requirement of the 17 Hunter and is quite easily obtainable. All you'll need is 3 gourmet implings, 2 earth implings, and 1 essence impling, and bring them to Puro. In the middle of this maze, you will find Elnock, who will trade you for the magic butterfly net. Now, if you are an Ironman, this does set the minimum requirement up to 42, as you will need to catch each of these implings in order to unlock this net. Number 2, we are going to harvest the glowing nodes of the Hunter node in the Croesus instance. For each of the skills in the boss instance, there is 1 rotting node, 1 normal node, and 1 glowing node. Each node has a multiplier to the base experience of gathering, and as it gives the most experience, we are going to focus on the glowing node. These nodes will constantly be shifting, so make sure you be vigilant and are always on the glowing node rather than the other 2. And finally, number 3, we need to avoid all mechanics that are going to lower our Hunter skills. Mechanics start at 15 seconds and rotate on a 12-second revolution. but that's just a fancy way of saying here's a list of the timings for each mechanic, and here are a quick few tips in order to dodge all the different mechanics. For smoke clouds, instead of moving at the time that they actually occur, move 2 seconds before and move at least 2 squares away in order to keep the cloud off of your current location. That way you can keep farming the node. A great indicator of when the fairy ring will hit is actually if you turn on your game sounds, you can hear specifically when it's going to teleport you. Otherwise, if you like to play with your game sounds off, you could wait until the full ring has formed on the outside before moving, and then the spikes will pop up. That will come about a full second later, and then you can go back to farming the node. Slimes are evidently going to be the hardest one you can avoid, as they do spawn in multiple locations randomly, and a lot of the time they do hit you in the most ridiculous ways. However, there are certain safe spots on the Dagonoth's body that you can use in order to make these slimes not be able to reach you, and those are going to be shown on the screen here. For the stun mechanic, we can use anticipation to prepare ourselves for the stun. A laser option, or if you're stunned already, is to use freedom once the stun hits you. And finally, sticky fungus will always hit you as you're the only player in the instance. Just make sure you always have logs in your inventory. And for the timestamps of 2:24, 5 minutes, and 7:45, that you do go to the middle to farm the energy fungus, as that will end your run if you don't get it. Now, I'm just going to take you through an example of what a Croesus trash run might look like, as well as giving some pointers and some tips. First off, if you've never been to Croesus, you can start off by teleporting to the Varrock Lodestone, heading east to the Archaeology dig site, and then heading north into the Seniston entrance. From here, you go south past the Tsar into the center of the cathedral, and then head east towards the Croesus gates, which is where we are now. Starting off with our basic setup, we are going to enter the boss. Now you can right click on Gorvek here and click transport, and Hunter option is number 1 rather than running down and going to the boss itself. A noticeable glitch that you will encounter is if you approach the left side of the statue, you are not going to be able to start the Croesus instance. However, if you do approach it from the right hand side, you will. So always remember to approach it from the right side, especially if you are trying to maximize your gains. Once we've started the boss, we are going to run to the glowing node and start harvesting it. At 12 seconds, we click 2 tiles away and then click back immediately afterwards, and that allows us to spawn the cloud farther away from us. We dodge the fairy ring here, and you will notice that the nodes can conveniently move in time with this mechanic, but if it doesn't, just be wary that it is under your feet. Our slime spawns in an unfortunate location, but that's okay. We just run a circle around the node and the slime will get stuck on the boss, and we can continue harvesting from the glowing node. We dodge yet another cloud and get hit by the stun, using our freedom to escape it and move our camera for the sticky fungus. We clear it from underneath our feet and repeat the entire process over again. Once the second stun mechanic hits this time, we are going to start running towards the middle in order to be ready to remove the energy fungus. If you forget about this, it's not too big of a deal. You can still make it as long as you start running after the sticky fungus hits, but to save yourself some stress, do it beforehand. Now, once your stats are too low to continue, or you have depleted the hunter node, we have 2 ways that we are going to reset the boss. If you have a kill in, say, a public instance for Croesus and you want to use War's Retreat teleport, it is the most convenient method to use. However, if you are too low of a level or you don't have a kill on Croesus yet, all you're going to have to do is run through these mushrooms here to black out, and both your stats will reset as well as you will spawn at the entrance of the boss. The only downside of this, much like QBD, is that we have a long cutscene, which will drastically cut into your XP per hour. After this, it's pretty much rinse and repeat until you are satisfied with your hunter gains. So with all this information, you are now ready to train your hunter using this method. But before you click off, let's go through the juicy experience rates. As I wanted this guide to be as friendly for all levels as possible, I did try and gather the experience rates for each different level and compare them to the best current training method at that level. Now, if we are taking a look, it does seem that post level 50, Croesus Trash Runs does seem to pick up some steam in the experience over top of the regular training method, but does remain competitive below it. Once we start hitting into the 60s, 70s, and even 80s, we're starting to see double the experience values, which is pretty significant. Just a friendly reminder that your method is going to change at these higher levels because you are going to start depleting the node, and thus you are going to have to start depleting and teleporting out in order to maximize your efficiency. This trend is going to continue into the 80s, 90s, and up to 99, giving us values upwards of 1 million XP per hour. The reason that 99 has such a significant jump over level 90 is because of the Hunter Cape. We are able to activate it in order to 2-tick the Hunter node, and I'm going to show you guys quickly how to do that. It's really quite simple if you've never done 2-ticking before. All we're going to do is we're going to take our Hunter Cape and put it on our action bar, and as we are gathering the node, as soon as you see an XP drop, you are going to activate your cape by clicking that button. For whatever reason, this counts as placing a trap, and we are able to get experience at a much faster rate. While this method doesn't give any money, I think it does a great job bridging the gap between level 50 and 75, allowing players to get to Big Game Hunter faster. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, sub if you loved it, and until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.